Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sabanson, and welcome you guys to another episode of the DREAMERSPRO show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got a great show for y'all, man. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. So, funny enough, I was thinking about Chris Broussard just yesterday. And I don't know what caused me to think about him, but I was just thinking about Chris Broussard. And then, luckily, funny enough, I came across a video on First Things First with Chris and Kevin Wiles and Nick Wright. And they were talking about the recent success of the Los Angeles Lakers. So if you guys know the Lakers, if my memory serves me right, they have won 6 games in a row. They just beat the Houston Rockets in a very good win. But I also think it's important to say that they didn't play with Şengün. They didn't play with Fred VanVleet. But nevertheless, it was a very good win, I think, on the road, right, against the Houston Rockets. So now I think the Lakers, if I'm just looking at the standings right now, the Lakers have to be, let me say, the 3 seed. I think they're currently the 3 seed in the Western Conference. Yes, they're the 3 seed, right? A game ahead of Houston. And I think they're going to play Houston again this week. I think tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. So that was a very good win, and they played very well as a unit. But prior to that, the Lakers had beaten the Denver Nuggets, which is a very good team as well. And they beat that team in overtime. So the clip that I'm referring to, the segment I'm going to get into here that I'm referring to, came after that Nuggets victory. So they were talking about the Lakers after that game. So they were talking about this on the show. And as you guys know, both Nick Wright and Chris Broussard are represented by Clutch Sports, the two of them. But Nick Wright is a LeBron James zealot, right? He's a zealot, and he will look for any occasion to try to twerk it up for LeBron James and shake it up and pour honey all over his ankles for LeBron. He never misses a moment to twerk it up for LeBron James. So that occurs. So as they're talking about this, they're asking who deserved the most credit for the Lakers' win against the Nuggets. Chris Broussard says Austin Reeves. He's giving us his reasonings. Nick Wright is there listening, just waiting, because he's just ready to bring up LeBron James as he always does. So when it comes time for Nick Wright to talk, as you guessed it, he found a way to try to give credit to LeBron James in a game that he clearly didn't deserve it and tried to put it on, the dive that he went for the ball, when he dove for the ball. And Chris Broussard absolutely shut his ass down like, nah, we're not doing that, bro. We're both LeBron fans up here, but we're not going to do that. But before we even get into what Chris had to say, today's video is brought to you by our sponsor, PrizePicks. The playoff push is heating up, tournament hoops are here, and there's no better time to make your picks on PrizePicks. Every bucket, every dime, every win means more when you're right. And here's what got me excited. PrizePicks now has team picks. So on top of all the player picks you already love, you can now pick game winners, spreads, and totals too. I've been using it and honestly have no idea why I waited so long. I made my first team pick on a basketball game the other night, and it made watching so much more fun. The best part, you can even pick who's going to cut down the Nets in a few weeks or who's winning it all this summer. All right in the same PrizePicks app. And team picks are available in 35 states, including California, Texas, Georgia, and Washington. If you're right on your picks, you cash in. It's that simple. Download the PrizePicks app today and pick your first game winner, spread, or total as the playoffs rolls on. And get $50 in daily fantasy lineups when you play your first $5 lineup when you use code CLNS. That's code CLNS to get $50 in daily fantasy lineups when you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. All right, cool. So what I want to do is I'm going to play this sound for you guys. I want you guys to listen to it in its entirety, and I'm going to come back and react to this exchange here. Take a listen to these guys.
Who deserves the most credit for the Lakers' win?
Austin Reeves, without question. And Luka was great, taking nothing from Luka's shot. But Austin led the Lakers with 32 points, also had 7 rebounds, 6 assists. 20 of his points in the second half, 14 points in the fourth quarter. And then that was the play of the game. First of all, he was smart because he missed. It's hard to miss. A lot of these guys try to miss and you see them make it. He misses it left, though.
To the side.
Yeah. Because the guy that was supposed to block out the shooter is on the right side.
Which he wasn't doing to begin with anyway.
Right. That's poor on the Nuggets part. But it's hard to miss it like that perfectly, get your rebound, that's bad on the Nuggets, and then hit the floater, and that set up the great shot by Luka. So I think Austin Reeves was the reason the Lakers won that game, or, primary reason.
Austin's a totally legit answer, and I kind of was prepared to give there's 2.5 allowable answers here. One you just gave. I'm going to give the other 1.5. The other one is the guy who just hit the game winner who had a 30-point triple-double.
He was great.
Who I think has become a bit of a victim of his own offensive excellence. Luka Doncic, in the last 3 full years where he was not traded, 3 full seasons, averages 33 points, 9 rebounds, 9 assists a game. He's going to win the scoring title this year at 33 a game, and up until this last little kick the Lakers have had, the discussion has mostly been, fair or not, about its kind of disappointing year he's having, and disappointing year the Lakers are having. And where we, as Simmons used to talk about a lot, there are 90-10 guys that do 90% of the game great, 10% poorly, but we spend, the 10% they do poorly is so glaring, we focus on that. Luka sometimes is that. Like, his defensive issues and his whining is so glaring, it can at times overshadow that. He has an argument that he is the single best offensive player in the entire sport. Certainly has an argument. Shea has an argument for that. Joker has an argument. He has an argument with them. And the other guy that I just want to mention in this, with the 17 points on the stat line, is Bron. Not just because of the full-out dive that JJ was so impressed by. We're saying I've been watching LeBron for 26 years and I've never seen him do this in high school or in the pros. But because, and we'll see if it lasts into the playoffs, he is the player who has adjusted the most in order to try to make the big three work. Like, he understands Austin is ascending and Luka's going to be Luka. And he already was taking a career low in shots. He's dropped it even more in the brief time since he came back. And I think little moments like that, Brew, from the oldest guy in the league, legitimately matter.
Yes. I agree with that. Now, I would not say that's a legitimate answer for
most credit.
Who deserves
no,
the most
I agree
credit.
with that. I'm just trying to shine a light on it.
I think Luka's a legitimate answer, as is Austin, as I said.
Yes.
But LeBron, and I'm going to talk about LeBron in a moment.
Yeah.
Excellent. So you heard what these guys had to say, and you saw Chris Broussard essentially shut him down. Nick tried. The fact of the matter is this, man. There's a clear pecking order. And LeBron, they're saying LeBron kind of adjusted his game, but I think that LeBron was forced into an adjustment. What I mean by that is Luka is not AD. AD was very much so happy with following LeBron. Every year that AD played with LeBron, LeBron took the most shots on that team. Every year. Even when it was clear AD was the better player, LeBron still wouldn't give him the ball. Luka, on the other hand, is a totally different animal. Luka will shoot and wave off LeBron and let him stand in the corner. He's going to shoot. So Luka doesn't have that same passive. He's not as passive as LeBron is. AD was very close to LeBron. Luka, I'm sure he's cool with LeBron, but he doesn't have that thing where he's trying to run behind him like, this is my big bro. Luka doesn't give me that vibe. Luka's like, I'm taking these shots, bro. I'm the best player on this team. In terms of Austin Reeves, because really that's what we're talking about in terms of LeBron taking a step back. LeBron was forced to take a step back when he didn't start the season and we saw how good Reeves was. It would look crazy if he came back and tried to force himself into the offense when Reeves was clearly the second best the second option for the team. So given the fact of how well these guys play, especially recently LeBron suffered an injury and they beat some pretty good teams without him, I think it has come to the point where he has no other option but to let those two guys take over the majority of the offense. That I think is what's happening. There's nowhere else for him to go. He's not going to take Luka's spot, and taking Reeves' spot would look like you're basically trying to impede the success of the team. So I think he was forced into this position. In terms of what Nick Wright is trying to do, he's trying to make it seem like, oh, well, if LeBron didn't take a step back, this team wouldn't be as good as it is. But the fact of the matter is that the Lakers are better when he doesn't play. That's the real story. They're better off when he doesn't play. So trying to imply that they're doing well because of him, because he took a step back, Nick, they're better when he doesn't even play at all. So it doesn't work. And I'm happy that Chris Broussard noticed that and shut it down immediately because it needed to be. Because now LeBron fans in a very slick way are now trying to take credit for the success that this team has when he barely contributes to it. These are my thoughts. Whatever you guys think, leave your thoughts in the comments and we catch you on the next one. I'm out. Peace.